Be ready.
Don't hit Twitter too hard. We might need it later.
Oh. Ha.
See.
Let me see. What else is good? What's a good energy drink? Quake is okay. Bang is okay. Uptime is pretty solid. It's one of my favorites.
No more energy talk. No more energy talk.
Yeah, I'm trying. Now we're streaming. Oh,
no more energy. We're not allowed to have energy.
Yeah. All right.
Low energy.
Yeah. So, hey guys, we're just having a little interesting conversation. But welcome back to Spectator Mode, episode 67. On this episode of Spectator Mode, we're not going to talk about games we played this week. So we're going to jump right into our two main topics, which will probably take all year. The most recent gaming shows that happened, the replacement of E3, and the PlayStation 5 reveal. So, yeah, it's going to be an interesting talk. So we'll see you in 20 seconds. Always gotta do the jingle. So we're back. For some reason, Matt, you seem to be disappearing from YouTube. I'm not sure why I don't see you. Does anybody else not see Matt?
Wow, I see him here.
Wow, am I? Have I? Wow, I'm like I've gone full invisible. This is amazing. Wait.
Well, as long as you're there, as long as everybody, I see you now. I don't know what the hell.
Yeah, you're looking but you're still there. There's nothing wrong with that.
It's just YouTube being YouTube. So welcome back. Like I said, we're not going to do games we played this week. We're just going to jump right into the main event because we've had a number of different E3 replacement shows. We've got IGN's Summer of Gaming. We've got Jeff Keighley still. Is this thing actually going, or is it just bits and pieces? The game.
I think he's been a code stream for a lot of the stuff that's been happening today, but he himself hasn't had like his own.
Yeah, so we've got the Guerilla Collective, which has actually been pretty good. We've got the PC Gaming Show, and we've got the Features Game Show. I'm
trying to think that too. Like, only been teasers I heard about it, but nothing.
Yeah, so there hasn't been. You know, I'm not going to say it. So we're going to go around the room. We're all going to. Let's go with the weakest so far. Which one do you think is the weakest? We'll start with you, Carl.
Future Game Show. Future Game Show. Because why? Because I got up at 7:30 in the morning just to watch crap.
Well,
like it wasn't even like decent games or anything. It was like, here's a bunch of trash and. Oh, we got to put all the good stuff at the end in a highlights reel that we never actually talked about any of those games though.
Okay, fair enough. Rob, what about you?
Same deal. I mean, like every single other one had at least something going for it, and like pretty much there are just too many things I can point out about Future Game Show that is just done improperly.
All right, fair enough. Matt.
Future Game Show was just like it was a slog. Hardly anything interesting. Was packaged poorly. One game ran on loop for over 10 plus minutes. The same footage. It was the most embarrassing type of game show I've ever seen in my life. I go to indie shows. I go to indie like those guys are lower production, but this is better than this. This is embarrassing.
Okay, and I'm going to round it out. It's going to be unanimous. Yes, Future Game Show because it went on longer than it should have. I saw maybe 3 games that I was remotely interested in. Yeah, it was terrible, and
it was packaged poorly,
and like, there was no Bloodborne PC. I'm disappointed. I'm completely
that was a deal breaker. You would have sat through an hour and a half for a.
I was praying. I knew it was going to happen. I knew there was a rumor, and Sony was not attached to it. This is a first-party Sony game, so there was no way how that was happening. But yeah, it was a snore-fest. We talked over most of the show because we were that bored.
Yeah.
It was not a good show.
God.
It was not a good show. So what is that? What is that? F minus? What? Did that show have any redeeming qualities whatsoever?
I'd give it like a D, maybe D minus if we had to rate it.
Maybe an F plus. Like at 54, like is that
you have an F plus?
Because it's like at best it had games, but even then it was so smashed together and poorly packaged that you would, if you showed me nothing, you would have still passed of how bad the editing, the stream, the quality. It was like like I said, it was like watching your kid brother make a PowerPoint presentation, and he's 4 years old.
Wow, that is actually a pretty good synopsis of that.
Yeah.
That was actually pretty good.
Like, goddamn.
Yeah.
I like that one. Thank you. All right, so we're not going to dwell on that too long because I don't want to.
Before we move on, if
Go
you were
ahead.
wondering, the game was called Blanco's Block Party. That was the game that had the most showtime during that entire showcase.
Blanco's.
What we were calling diabetes game.
Yeah,
Yeah, Diabetes
the
Island.
Diabetes game is officially known as Blanco's Block Party. Ugh.
Okay.
Oh God. And by the way, that game looks like just a party platformer where you just jump on top of junk food and play whatever.
So this is
Yeah.
what PC Gamer says.
And-
Blanco's Block Party is a vibrant new MMO where vinyl toys come to life.
You know what?
Okay.
I didn't even
No.
get that from the show.
No, I didn't get that. Yeah.
And the thing is, when the trailer first started, I noticed a very familiar logo of Team 17, who are the guys behind the very popular Worms series. It's like you've had this franchise of Worms for forever and a day that is
Don't-
fun as hell,
Don't
and now you go
don't-
and do this.
don't hurt yourself. I was waiting for you to say I want Worms to come back. That's never.
No.
No,
That's what
No, no.
happened was.
After Worms 3D or whatever the last one was, I don't want it back.
Yeah.
Unless they want to go back to the old 2D style on PC with Super Sheep, I ain't playing.
No, like I said, this is what happened. They want these guys. Who was left over from it? The same way you guys know about happened to BioWare. BioWare is like that. The BioWare
True.
team that made the games that you love are gone. Those guys left. They're dipped.
All
That
right.
is not Team 17. That is their dumb guy behind the back that sells burgers. That's not real burgers. That's him. That's Team 17.
So Burger King and McDonald's.
No, worse than them.
Oh,
It's the guy selling you runny eggs and calling it a chicken sandwich at Kennedy's. You could, yeah. Have you lived in the hood, Keith?
no.
Yeah. This is that is the difference between you and I. I have experienced
Kennedy's.
much more-
I think
lived
it's
in a
really good.
project, but my parents did their best to distance me away from the project for a specific reason.
You missed out on the good life. Quotation mark, the good life.
They got me out of there as soon as they could. So how about that?
How about that?
Look, all I'll say about Kennedy's is I've been there. It's not bad.
No, it's not. It's a joke that the whole joke that it's bad, but no, it's
Yeah.
acceptable.
Anyway,
Plus or minus the grill bars.
I
and the
have
guy.
no
Carl's
idea
like,
what
I
the
have
fuck
no
you're
idea what you're
talking about.
It's an American thing. You wouldn't worry about it.
Yeah,
Don't worry about
you
fried
Americans
chicken that's
fucking
good. That's all you need to know.
Popeyes.
Hey,
Yeah.
hey,
Okay, sure, Popeyes.
I have no
All
idea. Our fried chicken is just KFC over here. We have very
Oh,
limited
I'm
range.
so sorry.
We got like
Yeah, if you
first of
guys
all, we're
came
talking about food now.
if you guys
How?
came over,
Why?
if you guys came
Because
over,
because food is delicious and the food that's going on is these games gonna feed us up. Feed us
because
up.
we
game.
got
Come on.
Kentucky Fried Chicken, Kenny Fried Chicken.
This
You know
is
what? It's like
somehow
everybody
more-
opens up a fried chicken shop right.
Hey,
This is
hey,
somehow
everybody.
more productive than talking about the pizza game show.
Yeah,
At least,
exactly.
at least we can say this. At least KFC are bringing out their own console.
Yeah, there you
It's
go.
true. It's true.
Can we talk about that? Can we talk about that commercial?
Let's go.
talk
Let's
about
do
that
it.
commercial.
Talk about it.
Commercial. Oh my god.
All right.
If
Colonel.
they actually make a console, which that'll be interesting in itself.
Yeah.
Hang on,
yeah.
you know what? Hang on.
The commercial was absolutely hilarious. I follow at KFC Gaming on Twitter just because I don't know. Sometimes they just have the most hilarious memes. It's like watching Wendy's at times, you know.
Wendy's
Oh, I
is-
love Wendy's. Wendy's is savage.
And as soon as the PS5 showcase ended, they popped up their own trailer for a fictional console that not only plays all games across the spectrum, but it does it in 4K, 120 FPS, and it fries chicken.
You know
Hell
what? Now I
yeah.
kind of want some chicken.
I do
And
too.
I'm watching it going, you know what? I would buy a console that could fry chicken.
I have not had fried chicken in
I-
a very long time.
I feel I don't feel your pain because I have been trying to gain weight. So
Yeah.
fried chicken has been helping.
What's up,
I'll give,
Christopher?
I'll give you some of mine. I didn't get rid of it.
Hey guys, and one of our newest additions to the Outerhaven, Christopher's in chat. What's up, Chris? You know what? Hang on. You know what? We're gonna do this. We're gonna do this.
All right, we're gonna do this.
We gonna try and play the commercial, are we?
Yes, we are, because it's all your fault.
It needs to be seen.
It needs to be. Yeah, the world has to be ready to see this
I just
beautiful.
hate I gotta change this stuff to do it, but
Good
you know
I'm
what?
shit.
gonna
Jason
swap it
Ware.
over.
I don't care. We're gonna watch this.
All right,
This trailer. This trailer.
KFC Gaming presents.
I love this. It looks like any other trailer ever. It's so good.
It's got an on button. A disk drive.
The iconic name KFC Console.
A brand new gaming
as
console.
KF console. Kentucky Fried Console.
Equipped with chicken.
I just love the way it's
Kills me
all
every time.
framed. It looks exactly
The
like any
crossplay.
other like PC commercial. It's so funny.
True 4K, 120 frames per second.
Cross-platform compatibility and it fries chicken. The heat distribution on that is going to be terrible.
Power your hunger.
Yeah.
Oh,
So
my
so
God.
on the 11th of the 12th, 2020, I want to see what they're going to reveal there.
Yeah,
Oh,
I
I
can't
would
wait for
think-
the console wars
I
this year,
can't-
baby.
you know
It's
what?
gonna be.
PS5 is done. I don't care. Sony is. We get chicken
I love
and
that.
gaming.
That was actually pretty
Done.
good.
Yeah.
That was actually pretty good.
This is the
But
future.
I still want fried chicken now. God damn it.
I'm so hungry now. I can't believe we did that.
See, this is why I get food before you guys. I know my own
Yeah.
hunger. I'm not denying it.
That's why I have like a bag of chips in
Oh,
here.
God. All right. So, not talking about the PlayStation 5 reveal. We're still talking about the game shows that we've seen so far. Which one was second best in your opinion?
I'll have to stay out of the conversation at this point because I've only seen PS5 and
Matt
the
looks frozen
game
on
show.
the
So
screen.
Matt has frozen. It's really
Matt
funny.
has
Wow.
Matt, are
frozen
you
in
there?
happiness.
He's in shock.
here.
He
What's
can't.
up? What's
He
up?
can't really
I'm
process
frozen
anything.
for
We know
some-
you're still here.
Oh boy!
It's just your camera.
You know what? Let me try stealing someone else's internet. I mean, I got my own, but let me try stealing someone else's internet. Maybe that would help.
What?
Well, while we're doing that, I will say that it's kind of tough to call between the PC gaming show and Guerilla Collective, only
Okay.
because like I think the two of them were both very similar. I mean, one of them was longer, but like the PC gaming show is always long. They kind of set that as a precedent anyway, because they have a whole bunch of developers from like indie to AA to AAA games. Like it just makes sense for them because there's such a variety of PC games that are like specific to that platform, and the show generally covers all of it. So it's kind of tough. I mean, I think I personally would put PC gaming show over Guerilla Collective, only because Guerilla Collective is just straight up like, "Hi, I'm Greg Miller. I'm the host. Now here's all the games. Trailer, I'll speak. Trailer, I'll speak." And it just kind of goes back and forth. Like, whereas the gaming show is kind of like this more, I don't want to say robust because it's not like it's any different, but like
It's
more,
like I said,
more encompassing. There's just more games there than I guess the Guerilla Collective could feasibly do. But it's not like it's far behind. I think they're both equally in like the same quality of production level. But yeah, that's just where I feel on it.
Matt, what about you?
Guerilla Collective was kind of interesting. It was very standard. I saw bits and pieces of the PC gaming show because of they decided to run the show.
You keep freezing, Matt. So I guess I'll go.
We
I'll go
lost
next.
him.
That's what happens when you steal internet. But okay, I'll go next. I actually think the collective game or Guerrilla Collective was actually a little better than PC Gaming Show. Not based on just today, but also yesterday, because they went back and showed more independent developers. And they actually interviewed them and talked to them. So yesterday we didn't have Greg Miller, but we did have other casts. We did have other people actually going in depth with the actual games and talking to the developer. So I really like that bit.
That's
PC
true,
Gamer,
yeah.
PC Gamer, I like. But it was just like Features Game Show. It was just too long. And the comedy bits, they're trying to be funny, and I like that. I like that they're trying to be more casual.
You didn't like DevBot?
I love the second where they recreated the meme where the guy's looking at the bot as he goes past. His
Oh,
girlfriend
yeah.
getting pissed off at him. Like that bit was good. I also like that we finally got Persona 4. But I like more down to earth things. Just like when I stream, I'm more casual. I'm not like, oh my god, this is the shit, I'm the best, whatever. I don't like that. I like casual. I like realistic. I like up in your face and honesty. So I kind of like the Girl a lot more than I like the PC Gaming Show. Though the PC Gaming Show was not bad. It was my second favorite outside of Guerrilla.
Yeah.
But
yeah, I mean, I'd agree with that. I think if they had like set a precedent that they're not like this long form show that's going to be talking about everything, then I would have knocked it down. But like the past like 2 or 3 years, I've just been so used to them being just this really long show. I'll put it up in the background and I'll check in when there's something that piques my interest, you know.
There's Matt.
But yeah.
Sorry, Matt. So go ahead. What were you saying?
Yeah, sorry. I think my interconnection's dying or something. I don't know what's going on. New York's New York. I was saying Guerilla and PC game. I really couldn't stitch the difference between them. I saw bits of the PC gaming show. I couldn't watch most of it because they started to stream early, and I was like, I give up. I can't believe they did this to me. Okay. Guerilla was pretty standard as a gaming show. It was run better. Unlike being, future gaming shows run by a 4-year-old, this was run by a competent teenager who knew what he was doing. So it was what it was. I feel like, though, if you're going to more gaming shows in my general need to be run in the sense of you device your games better or place them in with better sectionizing so you can make it appeal. So if you're going to have like 30 minutes of straight, action or simulation games, just this whole thing dedicated to sim games, but that you can't just like the future gaming show, which is a mess. But that it was fine. It was nothing to make me go, oh, okay, this is the worst thing I've ever seen yet. Nothing to invoke my rage.
I don't know. The featured game show, you were kind of you were not a happy camper. You were not a happy camper.
No, it was like I could not believe how long it was, looping demos. It was just abysmal. I can't even. I'm trying like not to scream, but I was dying on the inside. Like I cannot.
I was gonna say you were probably screaming a lot on the inside.
Yeah,
not only screaming. You were like, I don't want to.
Yeah, I couldn't.
Let me put it to you this way. Or put it in a different context. For Matt, watching the future game show was like watching an episode of WWE Raw on repeat.
Yeah, basically.
I can't relate to that, but okay.
Yeah, basically.
Understanding
the rage. Yeah, because it's like
makes sense.
Because it was it was pushed at whoever the editors were complete putts. Again, this is an F+ project run by a 4-year-old doing PowerPoint. He has no idea. Yeah.
My thing is like it's not even so much like the editing in a lot of places. Like even the gameplay demos, the stuff that showed up was just like, "Hi, I'm developer. Here's the thing about this game that does this thing when I do this, that, and this." And then it's just like monotone talk over your game is not what consumers want to see. And like it may not be a consumer focused show, I guess, but like it's just kind of like, here's the gameplay. We're going to talk over for as much as we can for the allotted time that we have. And it just kind of keeps going on and on,
But that's the thing. Like that literally was what a lot of E3 was like. You'd have developer come out on stage, developer talks over product while person X does gameplay. But the problem is here, I think we just don't have enough gameplay or builds that, like you look at a lot of stuff that was being shown in a lot of these events, it's all pre-alpha, alpha, maybe if you're lucky, you might get a beta or a tech demo or something. There's nothing that could actually be played straightforward in front of a crowd or anything like they usually do at E3, because usually they'd have the time to put out a demo build.
Now, let me stop you there.
Whereas I reckon the way things have gone this year, there isn't really demo builds available.
Well, that's why I wanted to stop you. You make a valid point right there. I don't even want to add and yet counter to it. I think part of that problem is because if you watch what they're doing with the Jeff Keighley's game show, whatever the hell it's called, I forgot. That is going to have a lot of demos. So I think the problem is everybody wanted to be the replacement for E3, but only certain people were able to lock down demos, which I don't like. Like IGN, like we saw the other day, IGN actually started blocking people's stuff on YouTube when they started posting stuff because IGN was like, no, we want the credit. We want the ad revenue. This is all us. We're the one putting on the show.
And that was the biggest problem in the many weeks leading up to this.
Yeah.
We all said that. Giving exclusivity to a particular company is going to destroy part of what this presentation was about. It's going to hurt smaller sites who are trying to get news out. It's hurting smaller channels who are doing reaction videos or something like that. Because now that literally the gameplay trailers are now going to be owned by the big big gaming websites, and they're doing exactly that. They're pushing dominance in the industry.
Yeah.
And it's not fair.
And I think
it's not fair to other websites. It's not fair to people who are trying to watch the streams and everything else, and it's not fair on the devs and the companies either.
No,
Yeah.
and
I think the interesting thing with that is that it's not a direct effect either, because it's not like, your standard consumer or your average player is going to know that, and so they'll end up going to IGN not knowing that this is like a it's sponsored by them, it's produced by them, this is a show by them, this is just using their game showcase as an example, but like it's sponsored by them, produced by them, and then all of a sudden you find that if somebody else tries to write an opinion on it and they have gameplay footage of it, it's all of a sudden their property, and then all of a sudden it turns into, okay, well, maybe I'll just watch the IGN review then, and then it starts turning people away to these other sites and stuff, and it's like you get this sense of, oh, it's curated content by this news company. It's not their genuine opinion. Whether it is or not, it ends up being this perspective, I guess, or conception that this company now is putting out stuff that they are working with the developer or whatever, and whether it's true or not, it ends up being that perception. Right. And so they own the content. It's not fair.
So getting back to the whole playable demo, I really think that the Keighley, the gaming fest, because they were very upfront saying, hey, we're gonna have a lot of demos, and the couple of games that we did see today did have some demos or were playable, but they were very few and far away. And I agree with you, E3, and this is what I was talking to people in chat about before, and they're like, oh, these game shows are going to kill E3, and I'm like, but you're missing the importance of E3. I agree E3 needs to evolve, but E3 is not just watching game events. E3 is I'm on the floor playing these games. I'm getting hands-on. I'm talking to the actual publishers or developers on the floor. These game shows cannot recreate the entire experience that E3 gives you.
But PAX does, so PAX exists.
Well, PAX does, but at the same time, PAX is a different beast. PAX is what E3 needs to be, but PAX is still catered to the consumer. It still has a problem when you go to PAX and you're trying to cover the event as a press or a media, unless you're big, unless you're like an IGN or something, then you have all the room you want. Rob was there. He can tell you firsthand too. It's harder when you're a smaller company trying to talk to these people.
I have a prime example. No. When I was going to play Ghost Runner, and I was like one of the first few press people like that had showed up there. I mean, you had talked to them earlier, but I think he had like another thing scheduled. Mm-hmm. But I was just in line, like with everybody else. I mean, I ended up talking to the PR guy in line, and they're like, "Oh, you're part of the press. Who are you with?" And they're like, "Oh, I'm with the Outerhaven." And then they're like, "Oh, okay, come here." And so they bring me over, and I'm talking to this guy, the PR guy, and like no shame to this guy because this guy works for IGN. I get it. He goes up to the PR guy and says, "Hey, I'm working for IGN. I was interested in taking a look at this game, maybe doing some coverage on it." And so immediately they were like, "Okay, hold on," telling me to hold on, and they like went over to them and like started talking to them and everything about scheduling a time or whatever. And they're like, "Okay, great." The IGN guy leaves. He comes back to me. Very nice guy. Don't get me wrong, but like I get it. It turns into this thing where it's like, okay, well, this is the bigger guy. I got to talk to him first because he's gonna be seen by more people, and it just turns into, like, all right, well, I get it, but at the same time, not a great feeling.
Yeah, and it shouldn't be like that. Is if I'm there first, I'm there 1st. Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
believe me, I've attended the last 7 years at PAX here in Australia, and it's the same type of deal. Like, I'll be standing there. I might even know the PR guys, after all these times. I'll stand there, I'll talk to them and just try and just get my foot in the door. And somebody from Kotaku or IGN or something will rock up and go, "Oh, hey, Jeff, how you doing, man? And all of a sudden, I'm a nothing.
Full 80 spin.
They basically just fob me off like I'm a nothing, go and cater to the big guys, and then I've got to go back to them later and go, "Hey, remember me? We were talking earlier." It's like, "Oh, yeah. It's like, okay,
Yeah. And again, no shade to the guy, because the guy was still very nice to me, and like he was still very much like, "Oh, I want you to cover this." Yeah, but it happens, and I get it, but still.
Again, this has now become not what you know; it's who you know.
Yeah,
it's become another one of those situations. It's literally like situations at PAX. All the developers have had IGN, GameSpot, and all that come up to them and go, "Oh, hey, man, we know you. How about you bring all your stuff to us, and we'll broadcast it for you, and we'll take care of all the production stuff and everything else. All you gotta do is just submit a couple of videos and some B-roll. We'll take care of the rest, It's not like we're going to now claim the ownership of the videos and go around and destroy everybody else.
Yeah, and that in itself gives me always the bad rub because at that point, because guy, here's a little tip about me in real life. I have a minor in information studies, and I know the art of information, dissemination, all that stuff. But the problem is that what IGN or these big companies doing are trying to own the information. They are owning the ability to disseminate to what it is to people. And regardless if they're doing a good job or not, it's still wrong because in the sense of like, dude, you're a game developer. Don't you want the most people to know your game?
It's literally a conflict of interest.
It's a
conflict of interest.
Oh yeah.
Yep.
And there are usually laws against this stuff, but as the gaming circle, who gives a shit?
Enthusiast press.
I mean, and that goes back to the situation that we
so it makes me upset because it's
ago.
like one of the reasons why like PAX or indie developers, they want to get out the door. But the thing is like, well, I could do a small piece with this guy, or bow down to the legions and legions of shares this guy has and get it over. Like, wouldn't it be better just give it to both people, whoever would ask? But no, they don't think like that, and that always bothers me.
But I don't want it.
That again. One last thing. That's why I'll always laud PAX over a lot of these other types of conventions, because the indie side is so well done, and I'll give this to every indie developer that's out there.
Yeah,
they do their best to make sure they have something playable on the show floor,
it
doesn't matter. It doesn't matter whether you're a big press, little press, medium press, whatever. They see that press badge, they will lock onto you like a facehugger from Aliens. They love you. They don't care if you do like a 5-minute story on them, a little piece on YouTube, or a little blurb as a part of an overview. As long as they get mentions, they're happy.
Yeah.
It's when you get to the bigger guys that a lot of the politics takes place.
Yeah, and it bothers me.
And that's why I personally love PAX. I love going through the indie booth every year because not only do I not always know what I'm going to find, but the people, because you're dealing directly with the developer themselves, they are so nice people, and you will always get the best out of them. And as long as you give them a bit of press and you talk to them throughout the year, they'll remember you next year when they rock up.
Yeah, exactly.
Speaking of Indie Mega Booth, I have to give a big shout to those guys. They've always been fantastic. Unfortunately, because of the COVID-19 pandemic, they did say that they are stopping for a while, obviously because there's no events to go to and financials. I really hope whenever this is over, they come back.
I've got fingers crossed the Indie Mega Booth will be back at PAX in October here in Australia. Because
and the thing about like a lot of these indie developers, if you
they won't be, Carl. They've already said they're done.
Oh, so they're closed for the whole year.
They're done until things change.
Okay, all right. So, well, like I said, the one thing I always like about indie developers is like some of them actually have social media like Twitter or emails. And Carl, when you talk to them, they'll follow you. They'll talk to you back. It's like I don't know. It feels like. It's like real networking versus like I call fake networking.
But
where like licking your boot should not be networking. I'm sorry. That's the way I look at it.
I like talking about stuff like this. This is fun.
I know, but we're trying to stay on focus here, guys. Let's go. Let's keep it on focus. Yeah, I know. I'm sorry for trying to be professional.
Focus. You seem like it's actually a professional presentation.
This is the same show that had an entire tangent over the KFC console. Just saying. Anyway, let's move on.
Yeah, great. You still want to talk. You still want chicken now. So do I. So
hey, no, the KFC console's the future.
I'm still hungry, but it doesn't have anything to do with games.
We're going to $5 bucket deal.
Not inherently.
DLC. $5 bucket deal with DLC. You guys aren't thinking of your big brains here.
What the hell are you talking about?
Oh God!
KFC bucket bundle for $19.99. You're gonna get a wing, a bucket,
we're good.
All right. DLC. This
Next,
is gonna work out.
All right. So we've already talked about. God damn it! We've already talked about the worst show. We talked about the second best show. And that's how the Guerilla Collective, PC Gamer, and the future game show.
Before we go to where I think we're going,
go ahead.
Do we want to talk about the Xbox show in any way? I mean,
okay.
I mean, there is that.
But do we want to talk about the previous one or things you want to see in the next one?
I mean, the previous one because we're talking about stuff we've already seen, right?
Okay.
So
let's talk about the Xbox show since that actually does make sense, and let's just timestamp that. So we're at 29 minutes and 24 seconds.
Yeah, I gotcha.
Assassin's Creed Valhalla. That's it.
Okay, so let me jump out first. Let me stop out first and see. Wow, my voice is going away. Say a couple things about the Xbox show. One, I don't consider it to be a full Xbox show because it was all third-party games. There was not a single first-party game. I think that was a bad event that Microsoft put out, and it was half-baked, and they should not have done it because as soon as it was over, everybody was like, the Microsoft show is crap. And all they said was, hey, by the way, we got one coming in July. So you should have just either showed all your stuff in this previous event or just canceled it. Because all you did was add negative press that you don't need. That was terrible.
Yeah.
And everybody saw the PlayStation event and they're like, PlayStation blew away Microsoft. They killed them. And I'm like, but that wasn't actually a Microsoft. Okay.
I agree. I think it was very much a thing of like, and kind of like what Sony did earlier this year, it very much turned into a road to PS5 thing where it was almost like they showed stuff that was just kind of like, is this really what you wanted to show the consumers? Now, granted, it's not as bad as Road to PS5, which is very clearly a developer-focused event, like was not for consumers to see at all, even though they marketed it that way. It was kind of a similar thing with Xbox in that, like, this was very much like, oh, this is the first reveal of games coming to Xbox Series X, and everybody was like, okay, we got to watch this. This is their big thing. It kind of really wasn't, and it didn't even look like the presentation was meant to be that. Even though they had a lot of it was marketed as, here is all the games that are coming to Xbox Series X, whatever. And like, you know, it was almost immediately they say, no first party games yet. This is just going to be stuff that's coming and you should get excited for it. And then, you know, talking about like, oh, there's going to be gameplay. There's going to be gameplay, yada, yada, yada. All the social marketing, social media stuff is saying it's going to be gameplay there. And then it's just like, turns into one of those trailers that has a cool background music. And it's just like, you know, like, Valhalla is the one everybody got mad about because, I mean, everybody was expecting, okay, gameplay. I'm thinking a demo. The developers are going to be there. Somebody's going to be talking over the gameplay. We're going to see what this game looks like. Not really, and, you know, right. And a lot of the trailers were like that. Some of them did have some, like, very much this is the game being played by a person, but even then, no HUD, no developer commentary. It's like, this is a trailer. Like, it doesn't feel like basically what they wanted to market it as. And that's what I think the big problem was with it. It's just that here are the games, but they're just trailers. And we're marketing it as more than that, which it's not.
Yeah. Matt, I see you chopping away. You want to say something? Go for it.
I'm going to be polite because...
No, don't be polite. Be Matt. You have the reputation of being the wild card. Be Matt.
All right, so the Microsoft Game Show, if you want to call it that, it was
There we go.
Oh, here we go, baby.
It was can someone okay. All right, I'm gonna go with it. It was the best thing they could never do again. That was the best way to describe it. It's the best thing they should never do.
My brain. That hurts.
I want you to understand
in the most roundabout way.
Think about it. It's the best thing they'd never do again. Because it's that bad. It's that good. They should never do it. Yeah. You marketed yourself, all these third-party games. You advertised the Game Pass. This was completely nothing. I don't understand who was worse with developers, but once developers, you guys talk backstage. You're running little games, the cards in the back. I don't. What was it? What was the plan? I don't know. I feel like this was. It was like a good, what was it, 45 minutes? Was it an hour and 20 minutes?
It was about 45 minutes, yeah.
It was
45 minutes. Yeah, okay. Okay, so it was a good 45 minutes of you could have just watched a regular Netflix episode. And just if you avoided this whole thing and never to go watch Netflix, it'd be fine. And that's what I felt about it. It was just very wasteful. It didn't show the strength of their product. It showed other people's product, which makes them look weak, as always. And the only thing I picked up of it was, why? Like, why? Well, why did you do this? Like, why? Being first isn't the best. I mean, look at people who found the first Hadouken combo, and they're not the best anymore because they're not the people who do Hadouken combos.
Bring it back to fighting games. I do agree, though. That's something I forgot to mention is that one of the worst things that they could have done was that none of the stuff that they showed emphasized anything about it being on Xbox One.
Exactly.
Despite the fact that it's like this is third parties that are going to be on the Xbox One, but nothing about it was like, here's how the Xbox One plays it. This is the definitive version. You should play it on the Xbox. You know, it's very much just like these are things that will be coming to the Xbox ecosystem. Are you going to jump in and buy an Xbox though? And so it's just kind of like, you know, people were worried about like, oh, I have a PC. I'm just going to use Game Pass and just get it on there. And then it's just like,
Right.
Are you going to sell your Xbox? Like, I don't know.
Exactly. It's like they forgot like the first rule of the job. Like, get the Xbox out the door, smash it over. And it's like, how did you guys? Like, it wasn't like let me think of it. Like, as much as I always hate this sometimes by Nintendo or Sony, they fight with each other who gets a game. The definitive Dragon Quest game, I think is 11. Dragon Quest 11 is only on Nintendo Switch. That pisses me off so much. But at least I know that if I bought a Nintendo Switch, that is the game I have to get because it's the definitive version. There is no definitive version of a game on Xbox Game Pass currently as they advertise on their game show. That was like, oh yeah, of course. Oh, you know what? I could buy Katana Zero for my PC for Steam, but if I buy the Windows XP 4000 Tesla Vista version, I will get the definitive version of the game that has like extra content, whatever. Nope. So I don't feel inclined to do anything.
Yeah, I mean that's kind of the basic gist of it, right? Is that like there's no like definitive reason if. Say you're just a completely open-minded consumer. I have all the platforms. I want to buy this game. Why should I buy it on Xbox? And then it comes to the conversation of, well, there's not really that many exclusives. Say you're partially interested in building your own PC or whatever, or you just want to buy it on the Switch because that's more convenient for you. You see a game there that's also going to be on the Switch. There's nothing there that says I shouldn't buy it on the Switch if that's more convenient for me. Or there's nothing that says, oh, here's a better version. It's going to be more definitive on the
Actually,
Xbox.
Rob, the answer
the graphics are better or not.
Is that the Switch port? You should ask that. Is that the Switch port? Or where is the Switch port?
Yeah, but you get what I'm saying, though, right? There's nothing there that's like very clearly driving them towards get the Xbox version. And I think that's what you were getting at, right? Is that there's no exclusive portion that's like, oh, I should buy it here. This is the platform of my choice, right? That's what I gathered from what you were saying.
That's exactly what I mean. There is no definitive exactly.
Yeah,
and it's very weird.
The idea is meant to be you're trying to sell at this point. You're selling consoles.
Yes,
that is your main job right now. Is to put over the console like you put over Roman Reigns. Shove it down our throat. Give us a reason as to why we should be buying this goddamn thing. And that's been the difference so far between what Xbox have done and what Sony have done. Is here's the reasons to buy the games. Now, everything that Xbox did so far, they've given us the console. They've given us what it looks like, some specs and everything else, which is a lot more than what Sony's done. But then they went and said, Here's all the games that are going to be on Xbox One, and we all looked at them and went, "Well, I could get that on Sony. I could get that on Sony. I'll probably get that on PC. Oh, look, I'll probably get that on Switch." And that there was nothing saying buy Xbox.
Yes.
Whereas Sony came out and they went games, Sony.
And that's what I'm explaining.
They made sure this is all
that's the thing.
Sony.
That's what I was trying to explain. What you two just explained is exactly the negative message that they sent. That was not the way to do it. They already said, "Hey, our first party games is not coming until July," but everybody ignored that. They should have just said, "You know what? We're not going to do this because
they shouldn't have done anything until July when they had first party games available." Because that was the thing. As it is, the idea of the thing at the moment is to get over the console.
Yeah,
give us the reason to buy the console.
Right.
So, and that's Xbox just went, here's some games.
I guess
get them on Xbox. Maybe we'll put them on the live Game Pass or something. Maybe.
Exactly.
Here's our monolith known as the Xbox Series
refrigerator.
X. Buy it, maybe.
Refrigerator.
We got an Xbox Series X refrigerator, and we got a PlayStation 5 router.
Yeah.
I'd rather the router.
Wi-Fi router from the early 2000s. I think if we were to come up with an alternative, like the best thing they could have done was maybe
that's the best thing they'll never do again.
I think the alternative would be if we were to just have this July conference first, and then they could even taken most of this presentation and formed it in a different way where it's still attached to what we see in July, but it could be separate afterwards or whatever. Like, you know how like things like Ubisoft or whatever, or like EA Play, they'll have like a post-show conference. There's like, okay, coming up, we've got a demo of this game. And we've got games that are coming.
This is the big flaw of getting rid of E3, is that usually it would be day one is your Xbox, Sony, and usually Nintendo or somebody else. That's your first big day one. They have the conferences set, they have their information down, they have the demos ready. With this, it just looks like they went, okay, we want to still be first in June, and we'll work it out later.
All right,
that's how it came off.
I want to say hello to Mr. Mama in chat on YouTube.
Like,
so
if they held out in the future, I don't know.
That's the thing. So the problem that we're having, and I still really want to talk about, we're still going to talk about the PlayStation 5 reveal, but the problem that I have, again, not talking about that garbage presentation they showed, is Microsoft and Sony they're trying to avoid what happened at E3 many, many years ago. Microsoft doesn't want to go first. Sony waited for a while before they decided they're going to go do their conference. And now, this is exactly what's happening now is exactly what I said was going to happen. Now Microsoft has egg on their face. And they have to wait till July. They're not going to move their plans forward. They're going to wait till July. And they have to have something that can... Got a lot of background noise. I'm not sure what that is. They have to show something that can be as impressive as PlayStation's was. And
it's
to be honest, I don't think they can.
Not so much being as impressive. I think that both companies are very hesitant about giving the big details at this point. They like last time this happened, Microsoft went first and went, we're going to put our console out at what was it, $4.99 or something.
$4.99.
$4.99.
Always on.
And then they came, and then they walked away being all proud and like, hey, we got this. And then Sony went $3.99. Screw you!
Don't forget how to share games and everything.
And don't forget, you're not gonna have to
that video
your pre-owned games with us with codes or anything like that.
Hang on, Garl.
And they just ruffle stomped over the top of it.
So let me answer the two questions from YouTube. So again, thanks for asking questions. Do we know which one has the better hardware? So here's the thing.
Summary would be they both have very similar insides. So
the PlayStation 5 has a better hard drive, has a better solid state drive. It works in a different capacity compared to Microsoft's, but Microsoft's is larger and can transfer more data in a given situation.
I think the main difference between them is that, but just in terms of hardware and horsepower in general, graphical fidelity, they are very similar. Very similar. The difference in power or teraflops, whatever kind of metric you want to use, is not that big. And in reality, the only main difference is that for PS5, in terms of specific difference, is that they have a specific I/O controller in the hardware that makes certain games that have to be developed to use it to load faster in certain ways. Like texture streaming will go faster. This is stuff that will mainly be for like specific first parties. Think like your Naughty Dogs, think like your Horizons. Like those are the games that will see the most benefit from this kind of stuff. Even Horizon is questionable because now the first game's coming to PC. So, but it's very much just like, they are very similar. Only certain Sony first parties will see the difference of the PS5's SSD. But other than that, they're both very much the same.
Yeah, the only major difference outside of it is clock speed. The PlayStation 5 can downclock where needed. The PlayStation 5 the Xbox Series X apparently is. They say it doesn't do that, but from what I've been reading, it also does it to an extent. So you're going to have to wait and see. But again, they're very similar. I don't know how much the hard drive is going to come into play because, as Rob mentioned, that the being able to program it's no different than being able to program right down to the bare metal, as they call it, when you're developing something for a piece of hardware. If you can talk to that hardware specifically instead of going through like a PC, you have to go through a bus to get to the hardware. If you can go right to that hardware, you speed things up, which is what they did with Xbox One. The Xbox One X, they did that. That was their big push.
The I think the biggest push for this generation isn't going to be so much about the insides or the guts of the system. I think it is very much we are going to have to see the best of the system straight out the gate.
Yes.
Yeah.
And that's going to come in the form of games.
Yes.
This is very much a generation that is going to be on games.
All right. So consider how long game development is. I hope Microsoft Studios are working on more than one game at a time. They need to keep games coming to keep up Sony. They are definitely working on more than one game at a time. They actually have a bunch of games in work outside of Halo Infinite. Yeah. The new studio is working on a bunch. That new studio they have that they poached. I don't want to say poached, but poached a lot of talent from PlayStation Studios. Well, what is it? What is the name of the company again? I keep forgetting it.
Wow.
But that seemed like Microsoft Studios is not just one company. It is a multitude of companies that work under that umbrella. So,
right, but there's one big studio now that has all their key talent. And I'm trying to remember the actual name of that studio. The Initiative.
Yeah.
They are working on something that they said will blow our minds, but they will not talk about it.
Yeah, for a second I thought you said going to say Ninja Theory. Like, is it Ninja Theory?
No. Yeah, it's Microsoft.
They are part of Xbox Game Studios, though, so they're part of that whole umbrella.
If we were to pick one right now, which one would I choose right now? Given on everything that we know, I would buy a PlayStation 5. Only because I have a pretty robust PC and everything that's coming to Microsoft from Microsoft and third parties are coming to the PC as well. So
there's a major caveat with it, but I mean they're countering that with Game Pass, So it's like they're I don't want to say they're recouping their losses, but they've covered their ground in a way that's very unique to them. Where somebody like PlayStation probably wouldn't be able to do that. I mean, we've seen PS Now; it's not even comparable.
Exactly. Yeah.
Microsoft and Sony have two different approaches to the next generation of gaming. Microsoft wants to allow you to continue playing your past games, like your Xbox 360, your Xbox One games going into the future, and they want you to also buy those games on PC if you have a capable PC. So they're hedging their bet. You don't buy a new console, great, but you're still buying a software.
They're hoping you still buy Game Pass even if you don't have the Xbox Series X.
Where Sony is like, you're going to buy my hardware regardless.
Yeah. And that's the thing. Like, I'm at this point, I've already put down my expression of interest for the PlayStation 5. I haven't even bothered really thinking about the Xbox Series X since the PS5 presentation because I'm like, well, I'm about to rebuild my PC anyway to be something along the lines of like very robust like Keith's. So if I want to play Xbox stuff, I can play it on my PC.
All I need for my PC now is AI. I just need Jarvis in my PC now, and I'm good.
That's it. Give me Jarvis or Friday.
Friday's got a smart mouth. I can't deal with that. I already got one female in my life that's got.
I will say though, not to harp on this for too long, but I will say that this perspective is very much like an enthusiast perspective, which most game players are going to be. Like even the average player, like. There's still not much reason for them to pick up an Xbox,
No.
You try to think of how many, first-party Xbox games that people are really psyched for. What comes to mind? Halo, Gears of War, maybe
Forza.
I love Forza. Don't get me wrong. I love Forza Horizon more than anybody. But like, compare that to let's see, The Last of Us, Spider-Man,
Gran Turismo 7,
God of War, Ratchet and Clank. Jack and Daxter for Austin. But you get what I'm saying, though, right? There's so much more like first party games that you want on the PlayStation compared to Xbox. It's like
and even then, it's like again, it comes down to what you personally would like. If you prefer an Xbox, well, then now you really have to think about if you've got a really decent computer, which a lot of gamers usually have as well. You really have to think, do you want to buy those games on the Xbox console, or would you rather get them on PC where they might have that extra added, oomph due to your graphics card and whatnot?
I will say I agree with you on that. Gears of War 6 on the new Unreal Engine 5 would be so damn sexy.
It'll look sexy on a PC.
Yeah.
And that's the thing. So a big point we need to point out, as you both pointed out, is again, that is consumer going forward. I would not tell somebody who has a potato PC to buy the next Xbox games on PC. I would simply tell them, No, if you don't have the money, if you're not vested in PC gaming, if you don't really care about PC gaming, don't waste your time. Just get the Xbox. Microsoft has set a really weird instance where you need to decide if you're going to go with the PC, if you're going to go with the Xbox Series X. The only thing that would change my mind, and let me stop myself and say, I am still getting Xbox Series X because I want to review it. We want to cover it, so I am getting one. But if they need to have something that screams for the average consumer why I should get an Xbox Series X over a PC. There needs to be something that they say, and this may piss off everybody because it'll change the narrative completely. This game is only available on Xbox Series X, even though they already said all these games that are on Xbox Series X are coming to PC.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I personally feel that even with that narrative, it's always like not combative, as well as like it defeats the model they have set for themselves. They have set themselves to be more of a software service company.
Well, they already started doing it, Matt. They already did.
But listen before you speak. Now, by setting themselves down that narrative, they have pretty much foregone the exclusivity perks, because by selling the Game Pass, which has essentially a bit of everything, they are competing with, I would say, other services in that model, such as Steam or Epic or GoGo, Indie, all those other guys, right? As well as still being a console. So exclusivity isn't good for their business. They can't do. Therefore, if they do that, they will alienate the subscribers or users they have doing that. Yet
Sony can do the same thing and nobody cares. So it doesn't make a difference.
Here's the reason why: because their service sucks, and you know it.
But they have the games.
Argue with that.
Well, it's more that they set a precedent that they are very focused on. Here are our exclusives. Here's why you want a PlayStation.
Right,
you know?
Exactly.
It's not so much about if our service sucks or not. They're obviously not going to say that.
I mean,
that's not going to be their problem.
Look at PlayStation now. It sucks. Look at their online
That's what I'm referring
to. But they're still selling.
I still don't have PlayStation now. It's been nearly 10 years. And I still don't have bloody thing.
You never gonna get it.
But anyway, let me go back. Let me go. Hang on. There was 2 questions asked. What do you think the price will be? And I just built a new PC and a new Xbox PC. Well, see, that's the thing with consoles. And we got to remember, we got to do a quick history lesson here. Every generation of console gaming, this happens. The console comes out, it will do better than average mid-range PCs, and then eventually the gap widens as new PC parts comes out. PC is modular. You can always upgrade your parts.
By the time the Xbox One, the Xbox Series X, sorry, I keep calling it Xbox One X.
That's the problem with the names.
By the time it comes out, there will be enough PC parts out there for the average consumer to build something that is going to be more beefy than what the console is going to be.
But it'll still be at a disadvantage because, again, consoles are closed architectures. PCs are open.
Yeah.
You'll have a bazillion configurations that a developer will need to work for a PC versus a console. It's just one configuration. I can optimize this to the cows come home. For PC, I got to go, well, I got to leave some leeway. I can't really do this. I don't know if this guy's running AMD from 2 years ago or using the top of the line. So there's always going to be a problem when it comes to PC gaming. And that's one of the PC gaming biggest issues.
What do we got? He's just
like what I've
updated
done,
as well.
just buy a decent gaming laptop and you'll be fine for a couple of years. Unless you're trying to be the most spanchy mankel person. Look at me with my 4 HD graphics and I can touch real boobs with my face. Get out of here. But just play,
So what you just posted in chat is actually a damn good PC.
Yeah,
I would not worry about that.
990K, 32 gig DD4,
Jesus,
NVMe SSD.
You have a
1070
beefy
Super.
PC.
Yeah, that's
your PC right now will be an Xbox Series.
Your PC is fine. You gotta remember that PC will run every game on the market at least 1440p. There is nothing wrong with that machine. Nothing. Don't get swept up in specs on paper. Don't get caught up in teraflops. Do not get caught up in that. That doesn't mean anything.
Don't get caught up in triangles. Your computer does more triangles than that little fridge will ever do.
I would not worry about it. I would if like, for example, if you're on the fence right there about Xbox Series X and PlayStation 5, I would either get the PlayStation 5 or just hold on to your money. Your PC, trust me, it's fine. That processor is a beast. And overclocks like a mofo. That PC is fine.
Yeah, that's it. That's the other difference is you can't overclock a console. You
That
can
would be
overclock
awesome
a
if you
PC. It would be.
Well, you could. Doesn't mean you should.
All right. So we keep getting more questions. I'm loving this today. Thank you, people, for.
Thank you for the questions. We like that. That's just what we want. We want you guys to interact with us, and we love giving you guys our feedback.
Don't know if you can answer this, but do you know if PSN or Xbox Live transfers over the new consoles? Yeah, they probably will. They did that. They did that from PS3 to PS4. They did that from Xbox 360 to the Xbox One. They're not going to change anything to do with your IDs or.
They're not Nintendo.
The online passes. Yeah, they're not Nintendo.
They know what they're doing.
Sign up everything.
These are going to transfer. The only thing we don't know about. The only thing we don't know about is PlayStation Now. We don't know what Sony's plans are with that right now. It might go away. I don't think it's going to go away. But PlayStation Network and Xbox Live. Microsoft's big deal is Xbox Live. They have made it so with Xbox Live and Xbox Game Pass, it would be from it'll be from Xbox One until Xbox dies.
Yeah, it's what sold the 360s back in the day. There's no way they would change that, get rid of it, put any kind of ill will towards it. No way.
I'm glad I can help you. Trust me.
All the basic architecture you have for online modes now is going to be a baseline for at least another few generations.
Yeah,
you won't have to worry about having to re-sign up or anything like that at all at any time.
More so Xbox than PlayStation. Could, You know how long it took them for you better change your damn username.
Yeah, but that doesn't take them long to do a price increase.
Yeah, that's true. All right, so let's get out of the let's get off this Xbox thing. We've been on it for a while. I'll just say I'm going to reserve judgment until we see what's going to happen in July.
But you will reverse judgment, but you know the facts that Sony just blew them out the water, at least compared to the first two.
The first, again, I don't consider that one to be a first one, there was no first
Sony fired a good first salvo.
Hell yes, it was a great show.
They put up a good first salvo, and it's now up to Xbox to see if they can retaliate in kind.
All right, so since we're talking about the PlayStation 4, we're moving over to we're at 56, 54. Let's go ahead and just show the PlayStation Reveal because that was actually pretty good.
We just got to replay the last hour and a half of the presentation.
About live?
We did.
Yeah. No, we're just gonna show the PlayStation 5.
I'm just, I was disappointed because I wanted to see that beautiful HDMI cable, and I got a console. It's disgusting. I'm disgusting people.
Also, for the record, you can skip like the first 30 seconds if we just want to get straight to the hardware.
I want to watch this whole thing because it was great.
Look at all these coolers.
Look at the
It's not even about the triangles now. It's all about the magnetic black balls.
Yeah.
I think it would have
been.
been
PC gaming show today was a good. No, not really.
No. It wasn't it was an embarrassment. That's what it was.
Thank you, Mr. Lama. Thanks for stopping by.
If I can just say, the start of this commercial gave me very PlayStation 3 vibes. Do you remember the early launch commercials for the PlayStation 3? I was having flashbacks. I was expecting a weird baby to pop up on the screen for no reason and everything else.
The Death Stranding baby. That's what we need. Death Stranding 2, PS5.
You know what? That would have been a good game to show during the PC gaming show, and they missed that opportunity.
The Death Stranding baby giving us the fun thumbs up on the PS5.
Oh, God.
That didn't get delayed, did it? I think it did.
It got delayed. It was supposed to come out in June. It's coming out in July now.
Could be. Yeah.
Persona 4 Golden. There's a couple of indie games. Yeah.
That's the one big thing. I mean, at least for me, because it just means more Atlas on PC.
That's always a jam. Yeah.
I'm sort of liking the illumination here because at least it's going to look a little bit better than the goddamn little strip you have on the PS4.
I still don't like that tower look.
The jacket.
Supposedly the side with the disc drive is a side that you can actually lay it down. Supposedly, and it lays flat.
I saw pictures of it. So
it's so weird.
Looking at that, I can't. Yeah, it's like you need to stand to get it. It's like that. And I'm loving, I can see it now, and it took the photo
the
for me
future.
to actually realize.
Slick all USB drive. All USB.
The white siding and the black and everything else, the actual little emboss and bezel on them is the PlayStation logo. So the square, X, triangle, and circle.
Yeah.
Like that's actually pretty cool. Like,
But how many people are actually going to pay attention to that? Like,
That's
I was
great
like, how
detail.
did you see that? Like, how,
like I
did you
don't
look
know
at the
how they.
controller that hard.
Well, that's what they probably were doing. Like in the shot here, like supposedly you can see it in the bezel.
Sony.
Oh man, I'm not grossed out by it, you know, but it's just like I'm so 50-50 on the way it looks.
Yeah,
because on some spots I'm like, oh, it looks great, and some spots I'm like, ooh.
I like the no disk drive version a lot more than I like the one with the drive.
Yeah, that's the thing. Like,
that hump, I don't like that hump.
Form wise, I am very much looking at the digital over the disc version, but the other part of my brain is going, remember what happens with everything else that goes digital and suddenly writes are removed or something and you no longer have access, and disk drives, physical media doesn't have that limitation.
Yeah.
No.
So let me go back there for a second. Let's go leave it right there. So we got the Xbox. We've got the PlayStation 5 for disk drive. We got the PlayStation 5 without a disk drive, digital.
Yeah.
We got the brand new Pulse headset, which I hope isn't as bad as the PlayStation Gold headsets, which break if you look at them.
Yeah.
Media controller. Why do we still have these things?
Because
it does 4K.
We've got we've got a cradle, which is the first. Sony has never actually made a charging stand, as I understand it.
Yeah,
and we got a new HD camera. Which
incorrect.
Have they?
Incorrect.
Do you actually have one?
He's pulling out one. Yeah.
What is that thing?
That is the official PlayStation 4 charging cradle.
Is that for the controllers?
I'm going to disagree with that, man.
Wow, is that a Australian thing? I don't think we've ever had that over here.
No, it's supposedly it was worldwide, and it just plugs the controllers in.
I think I may have seen that at a GameStop once.
I've always wondered what that little middle thing was for.
They weren't produced for like a mass market. Like even I picked this one up at like cheap as anything, and like even then I never really saw one before. And, you know, it took a company shutting down before I noticed it and went, oh, okay, so you got this on discount for like $5. So
I've always bought aftermarket ones, so yeah, I've never seen those before.
Yeah, aftermarket ones, oof. Yeah. They're very 50-50. I've had some that are just like bad.
So, all right, let's talk about
that's the other thing I want to know as well.
What?
Especially with the controllers. Is Xbox finally going to realize that you don't have to buy external batteries?
Yeah, God.
Apparently, people like that.
Give us something chargeable.
People like throwing away more money. Man, what Americans?
I like that because if the battery dies inside of it, then I'm screwed. I got to replace it myself.
Yeah, but the thing is having something that can charge off a charging cable.
How does it happen? Thankfully, I don't know anymore. Because whenever a battery gets that low, I just trash it.
Because, like, to me, because I use a PlayStation 5 controller, whether it's on my console or my PC, all the time. Battery never dies. I've never had this issue. It's never taken too long to charge. Like, I don't know.
When I did a full charge on my PlayStation 4 controllers, DualShock 4 controllers, and I played Final Fantasy, it died a couple times when I was playing it. So it happens a lot.
I've always have the thing of I will always buy a second controller.
Me too.
I have two controllers. Yeah, so do I. I don't have as many.
We're not doing this again. We're not doing
that. We're not doing that again. But it's like I've never really had a problem with like batteries running. As soon as the battery starts to run low on one, I'll just turn it off, put it in the charging cradle, pick up the other one, keep gaming, or I'll grab a charging cable, plug it into the console, and just have it charged off the console. I don't understand the idea of having to do this, open up the goddamn thing just to get more batteries. When I can just grab this, plug in, charge. Internal batteries are not evil, people.
It's a 50-50 because you can buy charging battery packs.
It's a cost-cutting measure.
Exactly. Yeah, there we go.
Plus they wanted the little thing where they could put up "Hello from Seattle" in there every controller.
I never see that because I have a rechargeable battery, so I never see it.
Well, if you take yours out, then you'll notice.
I'll never take it out.
Seattle.
Never take it out.
Well, I don't get it then. Why do we want batteries in our controllers? If
I
we're
want
gonna
a
just buy the
choice.
rechargeable thing.
Give me a choice.
Yeah.
Why?
seriously.
All you're doing is keeping big battery companies in business.
Yeah, that's bad.
Yeah, fight the power. Fight the power.
Hey, they make plenty of money off their flashlights. Okay.
I use
it's
these
fine.
No, I use these things. I can't get open now. God damn it.
Ha ha ha.
I use
But
these.
no.
I used to take these out. I used to buy these. They're rechargeable. I don't have to worry about it.
Yeah,
but
but-
Yeah, but what if your
but-
controller was rechargeable and you didn't have to worry about it then?
exactly, you just plug it in and you'll be done. You just want to do
Think
the
about
extra
this
work.
way. Think about this way. If they did it that way, we probably would never get all these sexy, cool controllers anymore. They probably
You
go hell
would
with
still
it.
get the sexy cool controllers.
I don't know because we don't get any
It's not
sexy,
gonna
cool
change the
Hey,
PlayStation.
there's a lot of
design.
cool PS5 controllers out there. Just saying.
We
Yeah, look
better
at
have
those
some.
smooth handles.
I meant to say PS4.
But all right, so let's talk about the PlayStation 5 reveal. We've held off this for long enough.
Yeah.
PS5.
Oh,
What did
so
you think
good.
about it?
Oh, that
That was
first
great.
game, that first game reveal. Oh man, it came out of nowhere. Never saw it coming.
What game was that? I don't remember.
Oh yeah. That's
What
like
game was that? I don't remember. You mean the
Oh,
game
no,
that's
yeah.
on the game that's
That's
on
the
almost
only
every
mixtape I can
platform other
think
than
of,
the
you know.
Switch right now, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Why doesn't the
and I'm
Switch
sh-
have
and
it?
I'm quite sure. Well, because it's Rockstar, and I don't think Nintendo want to work with Rockstar.
No, they don't. No, it's like
very much against their brand image in a lot
Yeah.
of ways.
the brands,
But
boys.
but like okay, I'll actually give them this. Grand Theft Auto 5 on the PlayStation 5 for free. That's the thing that we forgot to notice on it was, and I went.
Oh,
back
they're
to
just
double
copying
check
Epic
the trailer.
Games Store. Bah.
Yeah, you're gonna get credit. You're really gonna get credit to Epic Games.
Yeah.
You are such a
I'm past
stooge.
that.
I know.
I'm past that. That
Hey,
that just needs to stop.
Epic Game Store's free game selection over the last couple of weeks have been absolutely brilliant. I've
so-
been enjoying getting my free games.
Exactly.
but-
So you,
But
if,
look,
if you,
if
you just gotta do it.
here's the thing. Like, I'm actually happy to see that. Sure, if we're gonna get Grand Theft Auto 5 again, one, they're doing it for free. Two, it's going to be enhanced and everything else. So it is going to be an upgraded version, and that we don't have to pay for.
Oh, 3,
And-
you get in-game currency crap.
Yeah, and everybody who owns it on PS4, from now until it launches in 2021. So we got at least a good 6+ months of $1 million per month deposited into every player's bank account, so you can finally get to playing half the stuff.
That's
Plus-
Rockstar saying the first taste is free.
Essentially,
I think a
Essentially.
good idea that they would do as well is that it could be one part of one of the bundles when you get the PS5 right away. It's popped right into your digital edition or whatever. Like-
no, it's gonna be there regardless.
Yeah,
it is free. It is free for every PlayStation 5 owner. It is not a
Period.
bundle. It is not a bundle. It is a free game straight out the gate.
Is it the game? I thought GTA Online was free.
But if you go by the trailer, it sounds like the game is going to be free.
No, that might. Let me look it up. That,
Oh, it is specifically GTA Online. It
Yeah.
will be standalone
It
and
does
free to play.
yeah.
Oh, well, still, it's a free game. Free game.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, it's great. Like, if you're anything like me, I played GTA 5 for over 200 hours, just strictly GTA
Oh,
Online. Not
I-
even talking about like, yeah.
Got
I
all
love
those, got all those endings.
GTA 5. I got the PS4 version there. I played it on the Xbox One X. I've got it on PC. I finished it on just about every copy I've owned at least 3 times.
it makes me miss my 360 Slim. I wonder how it's doing in that pawn shop that probably never resold.
I believe I actually have a copy on the
check it.
Xbox 360 as well.
Oh god,
I hope you got some decent money for that at least.
I didn't, but it's fine. It helped pay for the PS4. That's all I care about.
All right, so there was too many games to cover during the PlayStation 5 reveal. So, top 3 games that were shown off that you enjoyed.
Oh, top 3.
Ooh, top 3. Oh, that's easy.
Okay, you first then.
I can't remember the third game.
Can't remember. That is easy.
But that's a credit to the PlayStation 5 reveal, is that they showed so many games that it's like going for a top 3 or a top 5 or something like that is near impossible. It's like That's what I wanted to see. You know,
Yes.
I wanted to. I want to be able to go. Shit, I forgot there was so much stuff that's coming into my brain in the last 48
watch them
hours.
and watch them like release trailers on the internet, just reminding you like, oh, look at the good stuff we got.
I'm glad you
man.
say that, Carl, because it means you definitely forgot the fever dream that was Resident Evil Village. Anyway.
Have you not noticed my background?
Oh, I see.
Have you not noticed my background?
I still have to play 7.
Thing
I'm going to play
is-
7. I've been putting it off forever. I'm actually going to go play it now.
Hey, it's a good horror game.
This whole background is one of the screenshots from Capcom's press kit of Resident Evil 8.
That's all right. I wasn't going to talk about it, but after we finish, we have a special segment about that game. We're going to talk about, Carl.
Oh, baby.
You'll love this question though. You'll love it though. You'll
Anyway.
love it.
Oh god, do I have to?
Yeah. Sorry.
Is it going to impact on the one that I'm currently trying to record?
I don't know.
Not yet. No, you can keep that to yourself.
All right. So top 3 for me easily is Demon Souls, of course.
Obviously.
Spider-Man, Miles Morales. 1, I'm a big Spider-Man fan. 2, I'm a big ass fan of Miles Morales. So I'm glad that the messaging, even though it was all contorted, is actually fixed and actually is going to be a standalone game. I don't know how an executive at Sony doesn't know what the hell they're talking about. You've been
a Microsoft fan, so that's been normal for you for years. But that's how it works for other people sometimes too.
What?
You've been a Microsoft fan for years, so you used to not know what the hell's going on. So now Sony does. You're just
I'm
confused.
wearing a fucking PlayStation shirt. What are you talking about?
I'm kidding. You're sure he's stooging.
Anyway.
He's just stooging, guys.
If you want to talk shirts, check this one out.
Beautiful.
Don't go outside. Don't go outside. There are people. Out
I
there.
like that one.
I like this.
I
one.
like that one. But yes, Gran Turismo 7 is the last one. I'm a big car nut. I mean, there were some good games announced on there, but some of those games are coming also to other consoles, other platforms. So that's why I didn't include them. Demon Souls is not coming to anybody else. Gran Turismo and Spider-Man is not coming to anybody else. So that's fine. Godfall, which I'm looking forward to, it's coming out for actually PC and PlayStation. No, I think it also is coming to Xbox. So I may be wrong, but that Project Ethica, whatever the hell it was from Square Enix, that's also coming out for PC. So Deathloop is also coming out for other consoles. So
I got.
The only thing that's not coming out, as you mentioned, it was Horizon or Forbidden West. But I'm looking forward to Horizon Zero Dawn for the PC.
Yeah,
have you waited?
I'm waiting for people to mod the hell out of it. So I'm waiting for that.
That's true.
Keith,
have you played through that?
So, I'm sorry, was that?
I was asking, have you played through Zero Dawn?
So I have it, and I was playing through it, and we have this nasty history in my house where if my kids take a game and play it and beat it, I won't play it. So she played it and beat it. I was like, screw you. She did the same thing to me for Uncharted Lost Legacy. I'm gonna go play that, and she played the whole thing. And I'm like,
I love Lost Legacy. It's so great.
Is that the 5th game, Lost Legacy? With the play the that's when you play the British girl and the other girl. Okay, the reporter. All right, I haven't played it yet.
See, for me,
we
lost Keith for a second.
He's young. He's like, when I say I'm playing my game, you want to kill me, woman? Oh, hey, Keith, how's it going?
No, that was actually my daughter. She heard me and she was like, "Oh, I'm sorry."
It's like, that's so wholesome.
Damn right, you should be sorry. Damn right, you should be sorry. Apologize to your father.
It could be worse. He was like, "I will beat you, daughter. You killed me, dreams. I tried to come home and play games. You eat, you play. Get out of my house. Go on."
But I have been meaning to go play through Lost Legacy. Even now, as the talk for the PlayStation 5 to start ramping, everybody's like, this was a good game. They should probably remaster it. You should probably play it. And I'm like, oh, I kind of do have it.
I think you should. Lost Legacy, it's really great, especially because I played it.
Man, I got Ratchet & Clank. I got the sequel to which I heard.
I played it relatively after Uncharted 4, and so it's just a good finish up your Uncharted and it's just really great. It ties it up really well.
Can IO Interactive do something other than Hitman? No, I'm sorry.
No, sorry.
I keep telling all of you, one day we're gonna see Freedom Fighters 2 coming out. IO Interactive is gonna bring that franchise back, and I swear to God, it's gonna be one of my favorite games of all time. Anyway,
I still reckon IO Interactive should handle the John Wick license.
People were still waiting for a Kane and Lynch to come back, but
why?
Kane and Lynch?
Like,
they liked
that,
it.
that second game was absolute dog's balls. Like that was terrible.
Even
That
after they
got
came out with the
people
sequel too.
fired.
People liked it. It sold.
I want
Oh my
you're
God,
telling
people are
me that
idiots.
people enjoyed repetitive, bloated dog shit? Is that what you're telling me?
Yeah,
Yes, I point to Final
that's
Fantasy.
why Resident Evil got 8.
Look at Final Fantasy.
Fair enough.
Well, I can't say anything about Final
Okay.
Fantasy anymore because of remake.
Yeah,
But
Remakes
go-
well,
go-
you can say
going
you
back on topic.
can say Final Fantasy 15, but yeah, 15 is definitely not that.
We're going back on topic. My top 3, I'd have to go Deathloop. Actually, seeing that in action, I was quite impressed.
Mm-hmm.
Seeing the mechanics actually going through proper and everything, seeing the gameplay. Second, I'm actually looking at Ratchet and Clank. Like the gameplay in that, like the portal, the pulling of dimension portal thingies and flying through the thing and the
Time jumping platforming, good stuff.
yeah, it's
All
on
thanks to the
Assassin's
hard
Creed.
drive. The solid state drive is making all that possible. The first
Yeah.
game to take advantage of that hard drive.
and that's gonna look absolutely brilliant.
Yeah.
And I'm with Keith. Like I'm not a massive car guy, but Gran Turismo 7, looked absolutely gorgeous. And if they have half the licenses that they have done in like the previous games,
They'll have them all.
I like the amount of cars retro through the modern. Oh, that's going to be brilliant. And
There's
please,
something about being able to race.
please, guys, bring back the Australian tracks this year, please.
There's something about playing a game about cars that I will never be able to drive in real life, going as fast as I want.
Oh yeah.
And
Yep.
I don't know about you guys, but the fact that I love hearing a decent car go down the street, not shitty cars, a car that is tuned, bright, and you can actually hear the exhaust, not like a loud ass muffler. Like
You don't like the
perfect.
Dodge neon fart pipe rolling down your street at 4 a.m.
No,
Yeah.
no.
Blah, 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 blah. Anyway,
Like a stupid little Nissan GTSX or something.
When you see
come
these
fr-
cars,
come
these
from
terrible
Canada.
cars that you can hear a mile away, and they go past you, and they're like, "Wow, that's not going very fast."
wow, look at
at
that
all."
Honda
I-
Civic from the 90s.
Yeah, look at that. Yeah.
I like
No,
that.
this is the
I
thing,
love
like-
that.
Like,
Yeah, look
don't
at that beat up
give me
Volkswagen
these
my dad
pissy
got.
these
Great
pissy
car.
little things that sound like a wind up toy on fucking on speed gun.
Yeah.
If you haven't seen it,
Give me
Go
a
watch
good
it.
old, give me a good old fashioned American muscle car that has that nice deep rumble
yes,
when it
Yes.
drives past, and
Yes.
it's beautiful. It shakes your windows, and yep, perfection.
so
I
go
will
watch
say
the
though,
4K version of that trailer.
yeah.
Oh
I will
my
say, because
God.
going off of that, it speaks volumes that during it, because this was like the only trailer out of all of them that just straight up takes out any fluffy music, put you straight into the car, and just
And
let the car and the gameplay breathe, and that was it. It speaks volumes to how good
And-
that
and
was
it- and it
compared to
was, like,
everything else.
And the amount, like, we were all sitting there, and for those of you who haven't seen it, you can see our reactions on YouTube of the actual reveal and everything else. The attention to detail and the lighting engine and
Okay, Carl.
like
you win.
everything else was just
It was beautiful. It was beautiful from lighting to sound to proper shading to. They had shadows on the man's gloves.
Yeah, as the dude turns the wheel, like the actual lighting engine actually does the lighting properly, and even in the rear vision mirror, you got the proper lighting and everything. It was just
That is attention to detail to the max.
that we all went and said we want something that is going to show off the power of this console, and that was exactly it.
So
Yeah.
real quick,
And also, I fucking called it, by the way, and I got doubted across the board.
what?
Hey, I believed you. I believed the HDMI cable. I believed it. And don't you dare say
So
that.
hang on a
about me.
second. He said, not looking forward to Ghostwire Tokyo. Not what I thought it would be. So that game has changed direction, apparently. Yeah, it's interesting. I'm not looking forward to it anymore either. When I first heard about it, I was like, this is great. And now it's like, no.
The
But-
weirdest game out of the bunch I'm actually sort of looking forward to, and I have to see more, is Stray. The one with the cat.
That's
Oh,
definitely like
I
yeah.
seen that.
Well,
I seen that on the internet.
like,
Yeah.
I'm interested to see
It's for
because you
Carl.
know as we saw on the future game show, we got the doggo game.
We're gonna watch it again, Carl.
Sony has the cat game. Okay, he
So they
wanted
did
the cat game. He got it.
That'd
Yeah.
be an honorable mention for me for sure because I'm just curious. It just
I don't
it
like
looks
cats.
cool.
I like dogs.
Yeah.
Dogs.
Hey, but when we said we want the dog game,
Both
you
are
said
cute.
you want a cat game. So shut up.
Yeah. Oh man, but
But I want to pet the doggo.
yeah. Oh man, have I said my 3? I got Ratchet and Clank. I got
Like even
Yeah.
look at the attention to details in the reflections
Look-
and
yeah.
everything else in this. You don't get like it's almost photorealistic. Like we thought that the last Gran Turismo game and the last Forza game were looking absolutely slick as anything. Man, this is blowing those previous games out of the water. And
It's
I
like-
actually,
It looks so good.
I'm now going.
like sometimes I always
going-
accuse graphics. Oh, it's just shiny, but this is realistic, not shiny. It's
Yeah.
like this is good.
I
That's the light, not the actual.
I want to see
whatever.
Microsoft turn around and
Oh,
bring
man,
out
it's a
Forza.
car.
Microsoft needs to show Forza, not Horizon. Forza.
Forza.
I love Horizon though. Oh, it's so good.
Yeah.
It's so much better.
By the way, the real driving simulator. That's how they let you know.
Yeah.
The real driving simulator.
I wonder how far along this
Now
game
we've got
is.
into the mobile version.
Because again, I did say I didn't think they would bring out 7 because they took forever to bring out Sport, and then Sport has slowly evolved into what it is today. Because when Sport first came out, it was not good, and there was like only an online game, and then they slowly changed the game.
So is this a part of GT7 or
Yeah.
Wait, is
This
that? Wait,
Yeah, so
wait,
this is gameplay.
wait,
It's
is
like
that-
an introduction of the garage, basically, and like the
Wait,
events
is that
that you
Arn?
can do.
Is that Arn Anderson, my mechanic?
Is I missed? No, it's the Briscoe Brothers Body Shop, dude.
Yeah, this was the stuff they showed before just the raw gameplay footage.
Yeah,
I must have missed that on the original, but it's like again, look at the way the lighting
Oh
engine
my
works
Lord,
in the
this is
cockpit.
this is so beautiful.
and
Yeah,
the only thing that
it
hurts
even-
is it's not gonna be a launch title. I'm so sad about that.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah,
I mean, let's be fair about this. They're giving you beauty now. Do you really want? I want this on launch, but can you imagine the perfection it'll be when it comes out? The pure perfection.
No, I
But,
want it
like-
now. Instant gratification.
But
please.
like I said, it's like look at the way the lighting engine is reflecting off the gloves, and then have a look at the rear view mirror on the right hand side.
I
Yeah,
keep thinking
can
that's
see
a, I,
the
think,
same-
I
you
keep
see-
thinking that's a phone. It looks like a phone now.
No.
The more I look at it, it's like it's a phone.
That's a
yeah.
rear view camera is what they use
Yeah.
in the vehicles nowadays.
They used to be
Yep.
bigger though.
But
So
like
good.
you look at the detail in that reflection where they could have just cheaped out, and they haven't.
No.
yeah.
You know,
I do
Yeah,
want to see one
it-
thing though. I need
See,
to
it's
see him
even
pass
looking.
his
It's
car.
like even looking at the like
He needs to pass his
where
car.
the where
I
the,
wanna
where
see
the strap
something.
where the straps are on the left hand side where the timer is. You can see the texture in the actual
he didn't pass the
straps and
car.
everything else. Like it's
It's so seamless.
I am blown away by the graphical fidelity and
I know, it's just-
detail.
Yeah.
That's beauty. That's a work of goddamn art. I mean, jeez. Every time I look at the game, it's like it gets more and more beautiful as I look at it.
So Matt, getting back to you, what were your top 3?
Oh, Ratchet and Clank, not Xbox Series. The sequel to Hyper Light Drifter and Deathloop. Even though it's on every console, I'm probably gonna get it for Deathloop reminds me of Hotline Miami.
So Solar Ash, that's actually also come out for PC.
Yeah. And particularly the fan of that game, but I can't think of any other exclusivities I want. I'm not a Gran Turismo guy. I would love to watch people play it, but I never played one. But that game is so beautiful, I might actually take it. So, honorable mention. What's the honorable mention? Horizon. Forbidden West. Yeah. That's an honorable mention because I will play that game, but I will hate the story because the story of the first game insults me so much as a person of color.
But it has Lance Reddick in it. You're fine.
Lance Reddick was a stooge in the first game, was outsmarted by a white girl. You know how offensive that is?
Well, he is Lavala, so yeah.
Nope, to the
Yeah, exactly. You're telling me a random foreigner white girl outsmarted a brother who was on the planet, and here's even more offensive, he's a villain in the second game. It looks like from the trailer. So I'm like, great, Black people evil again. Let's get this out of the way, you stupid French bastards. Pourquoi pas eh?
Never play Far Cry 3.
Hey, no, trust me. Yeah. That's why I don't play Far Cry at all. Yeah, I didn't play Far Cry at all.
So I guess we can all
play any Far Cries.
We all love the PlayStation 5 reveal. It was one of the best ones. Come on, let's get back on track because I want to get this last segment.
Was one of the Far Cries that you can go out with the crazy chick and then she kills you in the end? Was that 6 or 5?
What? I think it's 3.
That's 3. Okay.
Anyway,
it was it was a
all right,
cult
so
thing.
We all were impressed with the PlayStation 5 reveal.
I didn't even get to do my top 3.
You are fired. Get off this podcast right now.
Well, people would shut the hell up. We can actually do it. I thought you said 3. I'm sorry.
No, I didn't.
Rob, talk about the feelings, Rob. Let them know he hurt you.
I'll be quick. Top 3, Deathloop, because we finally see gameplay now. That game looks sick. I can't wait to play that game. So much fun. When we saw it last year at E3, that trailer was sick, but now I'm so ready to play it. It looks great. Second one, Ratchet & Clank, only because it shows what the PS5 can do. That's the most important thing to me. And like being able to jump between all these different locales like almost immediately, that's amazing. That's like a game that's like, this is why the SSD is in your console. And then the last thing for me was, this probably be, I don't know, it's not a hot take, but Ghostwire Tokyo, because it's different from what I thought that game would be. Very different. In fact, I was very much like ready for it to be Resident Evil 7 style horror game, but it ended up being like this weird freaking anime Skyrim thing where this dude's like shooting
Skyrim.
It literally looks like he shoots like magic out of his hands, like he's like battling like these weird demon things. It looks cool. I'm excited.
If he gets a waifu in the end, then it's anime Skyrim. Like I've done this for my waifu. Come to me, big movie lady. Yeah.
There you go. But that's the one that it just caught me off guard. I wasn't ready for what this game was going to be, apparently, because I thought it would be something completely different. And then I will say honorable mention to Little Devil Inside, because that just looks hilarious and fun. And there's a knight butler. What else can you ask for? The butler turns into a knight and commands an army and attacks people. It looks great. Anyway, that's me. That's all I wanted.
Okay. See, you guys don't need to make me feel bad. I thought he went, so stop it. Okay, so
you forget Rob so often, Keith. You really do.
I love Rob.
I think that's fair.
You always hated Rob. You hate it because he's the most talented person in this room. You are such a horrible boss.
I don't lie.
Hack.
You said horrible things about everyone. I mean, I can't believe I work for you. The horrible things
about myself, dude. I don't know what you're talking about.
All right. Supposedly we have one last topic.
So we all saw the reveal of Resident Evil Village.
Let's talk about how we all love Hitman. Hitman's the best game of all time.
I just have one serious question about this.
Let's talk about Hitman. Hitman's gonna be great. We get to be bald.
Are we ready?
What are you talking about, Hitman? Get out of here.
What happened? What the hell happened to Chris?
He's got fat. He's gotten fat.
To him?
He can't punch. I mean, from punching boulders.
Okay. I'll give you the in-game scenario that has been.
No, what happened to his look? Why does he look like that?
He's Western.
Because.
Keith hasn't played Resident Evil 7. He doesn't know what Chris looks like.
Yeah, they did.
I saw that, but he looks even worse.
The idea behind his character in this one is that he has become a rogue agent for the BSAA. And as all rogue agents have to do, they now dress in black and gain 40 pounds.
Yeah, fat Western.
It's what happens when you don't punch boulders for a living.
Yeah.
Like seriously, that looks like a guy who hasn't seen a gym in about 40 years, who used to have nothing. So basically, again for Matt, he looked like Scott Steiner. I don't know what the design choice is, but like everybody has been cracking jokes that his head gets smaller and smaller with every game.
Yes,
you're so right though. Oh my god!
So somebody actually did an edit of that photo. I'd actually show it on my screen because I've actually got the screenshot somewhere, but I can't be bothered. Where it's that shot of Chris Redfield that everybody's seen with the big shot, and it's like the head just has shrunk down to the size of like a pea. Yeah, and he's just got these massive broad shoulders and shit.
It is a fat body, like Jesus Christ.
Yeah, I'm looking at this picture now because I realized I never went back to the trailer, and like looking at him, he's just like he's so different. He's like different.
He's
more different than Resident Evil 7.
He looks completely different. I'm like, what happened to what? His face is really different. His hair is all jacked up, and I'm like, what? This is not Chris that I remember. Even from 7, even I did pay attention to Not a Hero. I did watch that. I didn't play it, but
he looks
it's
very
not
different.
Chris. Yeah,
very different.
Put it this way: like he stopped taking the juice. Obviously, he was on the juice. He stopped doing that. He stopped punching boulders. He stopped having a black girlfriend. What I went to Division 5. He bumped everything.
Some people are gonna understand. Here's the
look at him. He's just some disgruntled. He's a disgruntled guy at a hardware store. That's what he is.
But that's the idea. He's meant to be a rogue agent from BSAA. He's gone quote unquote bad. So
yes.
he has now become the new Wesker.
Yeah, he's Chris Badfield now.
Yeah.
Chris Badfield.
Chris Badfield.
I'm not surprised.
But all the fangirls still call him Daddy Chris for some reason.
He's.
Have you seen?
God, it's like okay.
Hold on.
Chris Dadfield or something like that.
Have you seen the memes of him trying to get?
I still find it funny. He stopped doing juice. Hang on.
Let Rob say what he's saying.
It's so funny. Have you seen the memes of Chris trying to get Leon to get with his sister?
Oh yeah.
Those memes are so funny.
No.
They're fucking hilarious.
No. I'm gonna go cut you off there. I know a couple of people who
you gotta send me the memes.
Capcom. Surprisingly enough, both named Kat. And yeah, we've been told, do not talk about that particular thing. That's just
wow!
I don't blame you. It is
that is definitely banned content.
Whoa! Wow! Memes are not dreams now.
But
no.
I will say that
let's look at this real quick.
He looks like it's alternate universe Resident Evil where they just make him Constantine. He's just like this freaking vampire killer looking ass. Like. It's so different.
Constantine is much cooler than Chris Redfield.
His story.
I'm not saying he's like a good version of Constantine.
So
he's like
that bothers me right there. So wait, stop. I know you don't want to talk about it, but let's talk about it real quick. His story comes to an end. Are they talking about Ethan or are they talking about Chris? What do you think, Carl?
Hopefully it's the end of the fucking franchise, but
seriously.
Honestly, when they say his story is coming to an end, I've got a feeling that it is Redfield's. I think this is the point where Capcom are deciding to not so much distance themselves, but actually completely cut off the whole umbrella zombies, traditional survival horror. This is basically them
the new
saying
venture.
We're done with that previous storyline. We're now going to make it about Ethan and his kid and and Mia and everybody else, and they are the new characters that are going to be dealt with in all of this.
I also wanted to mention that this trailer looked extremely rough.
Yes.
No, that's the thing. This is the problem with the almighty RE engine that they keep talking about, is that for when you're trying to put in those first person elements, it is very rough. That's one thing I noticed with the Resident Evil 7 game, was that as everybody went, oh my god, it's so spectacular, it's so good looking and everything else. I'm like, no, it's not. Like it shows that this is like almost watching this thing play out on like the Unreal 3 engine, really, when you put it into first person modes. Like the detail, they try to go too hard on the details and they look very unrealistic. It's sort of like when they did the big switch from RE3 to RE4. The graphical engines just didn't. It gave them almost like a cartoony look,
a very shiny look, like they're like plastic Ken dolls. Yeah, I know what you're talking about.
Yeah, and that's what we're getting here once again.
Whoa, wait! I gotta back up. Did hang on? Did I just see ninjas?
You saw ninjas. You saw ninjas.
They're ninjas. God damn it, Max! I didn't want to play your shit, Max.
No.
Oh well, I'm done. But we saw ninjas. Why do we see ninjas?
Believe me, there's ninjas.
Wait, we got ninjas in the Resident Evil game. All right, 5 stars. But all seriousness, I agree with Carl. They're moving away from the traditional storylines. It's this new thing, which is very, I call it neo horror-esque, where it's very similar to Silent Hill, because Silent Hill does well at this, but You should just make a new game because Resident Evil kind of has a legacy.
The thing is now that the problem is where it came in the sales. I was looking this up the other day because I'm currently in the middle of writing a script where I'm going to sit there and rant for a very long time about how much I hate this fucking thing already. I'm not a fan of Resident Evil 7. I gave it a very low score and copped a lot of shit for it. But the thing is, when I complain about something, I always back it up with a fucking review. Unlike a lot of other people who will bitch about it and then get the game and go, "Oh my god, it's the greatest thing ever!"
Hey man, stop talking about my reviews. All right, damn, I tried.
No, but the thing is, like, I'm not liking the direction. I'm not liking the way the story is, but I can understand why they've gone in this direction, and that's purely based on sales.
Yes.
At the moment, the Resident Evil franchise is now sold over 100 million units, going from the original Resident Evil in '96 through to current Resident Evil 3 remake. And that's across all consoles, platforms, etc.
So,
the highest selling at this point in time is Resident Evil 7 at 7.8 million units. The second highest, at 7.2 million units, is the Resident Evil 2 remake. So that obviously Capcom have gone, okay, this game has now become our biggest seller, so we want to continue that particular realm, which is understandable because by the time that they started working on Resident Evil Village, which was not long after Resident Evil 7 had wrapped production, that game had already quickly sold somewhere around about 5 to 6 million units. It has just taken a long time for them to hit that 7.8. But I reckon if they had waited and this was something that was coming out in 2 years' time, we might have actually gotten completely different games, considering that in a span of like a year, the Resident Evil 2 remake has almost outsold Resident Evil 7. But again, it comes down to what was working at the time of development. So I understand why they've gone this route. I just don't agree that they should have gone this route because it is now pulling so far away from even, the gap between Resident Evil 3 and 4. We are now pulling an even bigger gap between, Resident Evil, what we call survival horror or traditional Resident Evil, and this new horror VR experience that they want to do.
I just call it Silent Hill horror because that's what it is.
I refuse to call it Silent Hill horror. I find that an affront and a disrespect to the Silent Hill franchise.
But it's very similar. That's what I'm saying.
No, it's not. Silent Hill was very much more psychological horror than jump scare horror, which is what the Resident Evil games are now becoming. They're all about, let's put a headset on you, put you in creepy little corridors, and you turn around and scary thing.
And that's pretty much what the whole trailer was too.
And that's exactly it. And that's the thing. There was nothing in the trailer that showed me anything besides the same techniques they used in Resident Evil 7. Except now we get creepy castles.
I see it, but it's like the Resident Evil remakes took time to hit the numbers they wanted to do, and Resident Evil 7 on gate sold. So they're more, and this is again, it's not insult to you. And I think Capcom is short thinking.
There was a higher rise in terms of sales. There was a faster uptake in Resident Evil 2 remake than there was in Resident Evil 7.
Right, and it took, like I said, over a year. It's dwarfed the Resident Evil 7 numbers. Is that correct?
To get close to the Resident
Evil 7. To get close. Yeah. So if you take it from that analysis, you know what I'm saying, it's like if I wait more,
you got to remember that Resident Evil 7 came out in 2017, so it took them 3 years to sell 7.8 million copies.
Right. That's what I was going to say.
Whereas Resident Evil 2 came out in 2019 and has sold in just about a year. 7.2 mil, so 600,000 difference.
Right, and the thing was the data I would like to know is how much did Resident Evil 7 sold day one, like the first 6 months, versus Resident Evil 2 remake the first 6 months. because that's the true hard initial sales menu where they can go quarter to 2 quarters. I think that's what they're looking at more than over term, because if they're looking in longevity, they would have not be so quick to the gun as Capcom's been a couple of years. I mean, look at the last couple of projects, excluding Devil May Cry 5. They've been jumping the gun on everything.
They didn't jump the gun on Monster Hunter.
Oh no! That was successful because Capcom didn't make it. Their friends did.
What?
The first.
That's a joke. It's a joke because Capcom.
The first month sales that I could get, that I saw, was a bit over 200,000, a bit under 200,000 copies for Resident Evil 7.
And how much the first couple months for 2? And then 2. That was
I think it was about 750 to a mil.
Jesus Christ!
That thing outsold that. It outpaced.
Yeah. So within the first 6 months, I guess they're just. I feel like they're just doubling. That's the case, and you're right. They're doubling down by just those numbers.
Well, it's not so much doubling down. I think it was just what happened at the time of production.
Yeah.
Again, you got to look at the fact that they would have started production on this in late 2017, 2018.
Yeah.
And at that time, they're like, okay, Resident Evil 7 is getting great reviews. It's getting great press and everything else. So we're going to continue with the story and work that way.
All right.
I want to say, and I won't harp on this for too long, but I want to see if maybe this is just some kind of long plan that they have, because I mean, from what we know, there's probably a Resident Evil 4 remake in store for us at some point in the future.
No,
I can see it for sure.
It's likely going to happen.
As much as you may not want it, I'm
gonna go you.
The word is they're working on 2 Resident Evil games right now.
Yeah,
and they've already said that part of the rumor is they're working on a 4.
Yeah, and
and the thing to me though is
the sales for the other 2 remakes have been great. So I mean, I wouldn't be surprised at all.
The other thing with all of this, when it came into development, this game wasn't even supposed to be Resident Evil Village. It was originally going to be Resident Evil Revelations 3. So it was supposed to be a part of the Revelations franchise with the werewolves and everything else. That's why you see the big dude with the hammer from 5.
Mm-hmm.
Like he jumps in the frame at one point, and the werewolves and everything else. That was all supposed to be a part of Revelations 3. But then they saw the success of 7, decided to take that. And the other thing is they wanted to take parts of what is known as Resident Evil 3.5, which anyone who's a big term Resident Evil fan will know as the original E3 demo for Resident Evil 4, where Chris is going through the castle with the creepy dolls and everything. That's where the whole creepy castle deal comes in. Is they wanted to finally start using those type of things in this type of thing because they reckon it works well with a VR environment. Mm-hmm. And I'll give Capcom this, and I said it during the Resident Evil 7 review that I did. They have made a great horror VR experience. I just don't call it a Resident Evil game. They've taken parts of the Resident Evil iconography and applied it to a new story and everything else, just so they can sell units. If they called this anything else and just run it as a VR experience, I don't think it would have sold as much. But it still would have been a great technical achievement.
Yeah, I think even like 7, which could have just have easily just been a Resident Evil spin-off, and I think it would have sold just as well as it has. But yeah, I mean, putting it as a numbered thing, I got to give credit to them for at least being willing to experiment. I mean, that's one thing, regardless of whether it's a numbered entry or not. Like, they're at least trying new things with Resident Evil that I guess people wouldn't expect. Whether their fans want it or not is kind of something else. It is at least.
I just hope that Capcom have learnt that not everybody wants the VR style, and at least give us the option of a third person, because that's the biggest problem that a lot of people have come up, and it came up in the comments as soon as this trailer got put out. It was, I can't play this because I get motion sickness from VR. And even playing it without the VR headset, they had a technology in it that the camera would bob like your head would move. So if you slightly move, you're walking, your head does this type of movement. And the camera would do that type of movement. Yeah. So people who get motion sickness, unless they realize that you can actually toggle that off in the options, which a lot of people did, we're left with a game that they could not play. Whereas if they do it something where you can have an over-the-shoulder camera and a third-person experience like a more traditional style, then a lot more people will be wanting to play it. But
Yeah, a lot of it
again,
kinda goes
I've
along with, like-
got rants and all that stuff coming.
Yeah.
That'll be another
Like I
podcast.
guess, like my take of it is that like I think again, and I agree with Rob, they're being experimental trying something new because like I said, the thing and I agree with you. I agree with you. You know, number wise, they're called like to me. It reminds me of the problem between like I'm a Devil May Cry fan. 2 sucks and 4 sucks. 4 has a lot of broken mechanics, but it's not really fun. It's not a full game. And 5 is so revolutionary, but people hate 5 because it doesn't have backtracking. It doesn't have like it's more action linear than compared to like backtracking like 1 and 3. But like to me, at least they're trying to do something with the franchise before, and it still has the flair. I feel Resident Evil, the only flair the current Resident Evil have is the horror aspect. But you're right, point out it's more jump scares. It's less of the traditional sense of horror, and I agree with that. But I do agree, Rob. It's experimental because again, the formula has to. I think they're afraid of using the formula to its potential. That's just my theory about some people, companies.
And I mean, I don't really mean this, but it could just be the thing that it's like, well, how far can we take the Umbrella story before we just understand that Umbrella's just going to keep getting worse before it gets better, and then it becomes more predictable, And I get that's not how I feel, but I can imagine that. Might
like it's like House of the Dead. How many times Goleman's going to revive the demons? You guys ever play House of the Dead? Remember House of the Dead?
Not in a long time.
Yeah, good. Like It's
I
like how
remember
many times
arcades. I'm not that young.
Yeah. Like how many times Goldman's gonna come back from like hell or whatever and revive these demons and take over the world? So
we're running a little over. So let me just answer his last question. So the question was, isn't Samsung's 980 Pro SSD coming out that's supposed to be as fast as a PlayStation solid state drive? So for those who don't know about this, this is a drive that was leaked a while ago, and there's quoting it will be as fast as the PlayStation 5 because it has 600 gigs write speed. Well, what is it? Well, actually, let me get the specs. So basically, it's really fast. It's going to be one of the fastest solid state drives out there in the market. But there's a downside. It requires you to have PCIe 4.0 in your machine. The problem is that's a spec that was only recently released. So if you have an older motherboard, like for AMD Ryzen, if you have an X370 or X340 or a B450 or whatnot, you don't have access to it. So this drive is only for a limited amount of people who have upgraded their motherboards in the last year. So yes, the drive's going to be fast. Who knows how fast it's going to be compared to the PlayStation because of the hardware, but it will be the fastest one available for the PC market, hands down.
Yeah. It also turns into the thing like, okay, well, does this game support having texture streaming at this amount of speed or whatever?
That too.
The games will have to support it too. And in the end, I mean, they'll go console first. So
plus at the same time, it's also you transfer architecture as well. Like you're saying, 600 what was it, 600 megabytes or 600 gig? You were saying there, Keith.
Here it is. So it will do. Where's my?
Basically, the read-write speed on a console is not going to be the same as the read-write speed.
650 megs per second reading and 5,000 megs per second on writes. That's actually really damn fast.
Like, yeah, that's fast, but at the same time, the way a PC writes to a drive versus how a console writes to a drive are completely different styles, and it's different architecture, different backends.
Well,
there's no real way to test that they are going to run the same unless you pull the drive out and you test the PC versus PC.
No, they do work the same. But Rob is correct. The game has to be designed to take advantage of the hardware, and for PCs, they don't do that. They literally just don't do that because, again, they would have to do this for hundreds of different drives.
It also need to be able to boot your OS. It would need to be able to write files. It need to be, like stuff that's not game related to. So yeah, I mean,
it comes back again where people are going, "Hey, my PC is just as fast as a PlayStation 5 or whatever," and people need to get out of that mindset. Stop that. They don't work the same. They have the same underlying features. They work in a similar fashion. But the PlayStation 5 is being designed to work in conjunction with that drive. There's only one PlayStation 5 motherboard and integrated components. For the PC, there's thousands of combinations. There's thousands of motherboards and different memory slots and hard drives. So
this isn't the days of the original Xbox, which was basically a Pentium 3 shoved into a console.
Yeah.
You know, those days are long over. Like everything, it's all customized architecture. It's all customized software, hardware. You know, there are no extra revisions that are done until like God knows down the track.
Yeah, so you have a PCIe, you couldn't even use it.
There was also a story recently that they said the AMD CPU and GPU like technology in the consoles is going to be sold for the PC market at some point. Which I mean, take with that what you will. I mean, the stuff that's on the PC market now can do the same, if not better. So I mean, it doesn't really matter. But I just thought it was interesting.
Yeah, the biggest thing right now, and again, and it just brings up the conversation again of I don't want to talk about too long because we're almost hitting 2 hours, which is wow. Okay, it's an interesting conversation that maybe could have happened in the past, but now that Sony is like this hard drive will do everything under the sun, everybody's like all of a sudden, oh my god, my hard drive's slow. Just stop worrying about it.
You don't think about how slow your PS4 loads until somebody says the PS5 does it faster. You know,
yeah,
like
you know, unless you're doing something like, well, you can't even do it now. Like with the PS4, the only time that you ever really had anybody going crazy was when they took the initial stock hard drive and then placed it against an SSD of the same size, and even then the change in performance was like 2 seconds.
Yeah, they tested it on like a Destiny build, and I'm pretty sure it took somebody like 3 seconds instead of 2 to get to the tower. That was literally it. Like that was the test.
I wouldn't worry about your hard drive being as fast as PlayStation 5. And then again, look at it this way: the PlayStation 5 has an advantage over your PC hardware. That's just how it is. They're Ratchet and Clank Rift Apart. They are developing that game to take advantage of that hard drive. There's nothing your PC can do to match that. So don't worry about it. Only thing the developers can actually do for PC is instead of taking advantage of the hardware is say, okay, we're going to dump this to your memory and then let the memory transfer it down the bus to your hard drive. So it'll sit there in memory and load faster. That's it. That's all they got to do.
Yeah.
Will they do it? I don't know.
Yeah, it's like I said earlier. I mean, like, the exclusives will take advantage of that stuff, but all your other games, like, all the stuff that you could play anywhere else, it'll be the same on pretty much everything that you can play, so.
Yeah. So with that said and done, we're going to close it off for the evening.
Yep, we are done. Thanks for stopping by.
We are done at almost a 2-hour show.
Yeah, we almost hit the gauntlet, but.
Almost, yeah.
Look, we are probably going to have a few longer shows over the next couple of weeks because we are in that
whole bunch of stuff
E3 style news cycle where we are going to have a lot of talk about over the next couple of weeks. Little bits and pieces. You are going to see more of that content popping up on the Outerhaven.net and also on the Outerhaven YouTube channel, where people like myself are going to sit there and rant about Resident Evil Village. I'm sure Keith's got a few dozen things he wants to record and rant about as well. You might even see Rob or Matt put up a couple of videos.
Yep.
But as always, keep your eye on our social media channels. Keep an eye on the Outerhaven.net, and just catch up with what we got. Or if you even have any questions, you can find us on our social medias and everything else.
And shout out to the people who asked questions during the show too.
Yeah,
because that's awesome.
We appreciate that. We love that. We want you guys to
please,
keep coming back and asking questions because we want to answer them. It's fun talking to you. While we love talking to each other, we rather talk to you guys because you guys ask the questions and makes us think about things that we probably didn't think about before. So thank you for that.
Yep. So tell your friends, bring your friends along, bring your enemies along. We don't care.
Bring your enemies.
Yes. Bring your friends, bring your family, bring your enemies. We don't care as long as you talk. No, but we do appreciate anybody who stops by and has a quick look on our podcast each week. We might not be pulling hundreds of thousands of viewers, but you know what? We're happy to keep an eye.
Everybody starts somewhere.
Everybody.
Yeah.
Exactly.
So thanks for watching, and as always, you can find us on our Outerhaven website. You can check us out on Spotify, Plex, which is actually pretty cool now, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, and wherever podcasts are hosted. So we're going to get out of here, and thank you for watching. See ya.
Breakfast.